Hello everyone and welcome to our round 3 coverage of the 2014 San Diego Open. I'm your host Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and we have caught up with our noon leader card. We're going to go out and battle it out for 18 more holes. After the 18 holes are complete, we're then going to trim down to just 4 players, and we're going to feature them in the final 4 this afternoon. So with that being said, we're going to start out with Steve Rico, who's just a couple of strokes off the lead. Steve, we saw you yesterday morning. All right, correction. We'll say you're in the lead. How about that? I don't want to shortchange you, buddy.
Tied for the lead.
Tied for the lead. How about that? Steve, you started out a little bit slower yesterday. You caught up, and then yesterday afternoon, you played a little more catch-up. You got 2 more back, and you're tied with Max now. How's that feel?
It feels pretty good. I was started off pretty slow, and these guys are running away from me for a little bit there, and I'm just happy to be caught up and have a chance today.
So even with the sun and the heat and everything else we're taking on, you're playing catch-up and running them down. Patrick Brown, who stepped up from the Masters division to come fight it out with the young guns here. Patrick, you're just a couple off. Not a bad position to be here at this A-tier.
No, not at all. I feel happy to be here, check out this great event. It's my first time playing down in San Diego. Had a good time with Max setting up the courses, got to get a couple previews of the courses, so just glad to be here playing with these guys.
And I know that in San Francisco area, you're always doing a ton of work. You come down here this week, you're doing a ton of work, and you're playing good golf. So it looks like it's all paying off.
Always, always. It's always good to give back, try to grow the sport.
All right, awesome. And Scott Miller is, we'll say, the new guy on the card. Yesterday morning we had 3 of these guys. Now you have jumped in here. Scott, you're a relatively new professional in the area?
About a year and a half.
Well, that's pretty good. And here you are on a lead card at the at an A-tier event. What's your game plan this morning?
Just play clean, keep it no OBs, and get as many birdies as I can.
What are you going to do differently from yesterday morning's round out here versus this afternoon's?
Kill it, be more comfortable.
Kill it. Okay.
I was hurting yesterday.
Okay. You're ready to go?
I'm ready to go. I feel good.
All right. And as we were finally clarified, Steve Rico's tied here with Max. And Max, you're no newcomer to this area and to the course. What's your plan out there?
Plan's the same as yesterday. Come out here, I'm really comfortable playing out here and just keep it in the ropes and make all my putts.
All right. Well, your mother said that she enjoyed watching the broadcast, so we're so glad we got friends and family and everybody tuned in. Any final words from any of you guys to anyone out there that's going to be watching today?
Have fun, play disc golf.
Yep.
Enjoy it. Enjoy the show.
Share this video.
There you go.
More viewers.
There we go.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Well, this is your foursome, your leader card here kicking off just after noon. We're at Kit Carson Park just outside San Diego, and these guys are ready to put on a show. Let's step inside the Smash Box.
Should have brought Super in for a quick question. Probably be 1 and 2. Come down.
Yeah, I'll get him, man.
And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We are just a few moments away from our leader card tee-off. We are so glad you could be joining us here on Smashbox TV. We're looking forward to an exciting show this afternoon. And these guys seem to be ready to go. I'm just going to wait for just a moment as there's a little congestion here. Hole number 4's Hello everyone, we hope you're enjoying the show here on Smashbox TV. I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and our show would not be possible without the amazing help and support and sponsors that we have. First and foremost this week, Legacy Discs. That's right, Legacy Discs out of California, Sylmar, California. Bamba, Steve, Freddie, Steve, all the guys over there, amazing support. Thank you guys for getting Smashbox TV up and off the ground. Play with confidence. Also, we have the PDGA. Our Professional Disc Golf Association has been supporting us from day one, and thank you for everything that you guys do. You are our disc golf ambassadors. Thank you so much. Of course, we have Miles Parkhill over at Paragon Disc Golf. Miles provides some of the best merchandise to all of clubs and tournaments throughout the entire country. And without Miles Parkhill at Paragon, we wouldn't be where we are. Last but not least, Sandy Point Resort and Disc Golf Ranch. Mike and Michelle Cousins in northern Wisconsin have been absolutely amazing. They're bringing you the leaderboard throughout the entire week. Sandy Point Resort and Disc Golf Ranch. Check them out. It is my favorite disc golf course anywhere in the country. Check them out. sandypt.com, Sandy Point Resort and Disc Golf Ranch. So there you have it. We have an amazing set of sponsors. Everyone else that tunes in, watches, supports us on YouTube, supports us via Facebook, shares, likes, Twitters, the whole 9 yards. We also have our first run of Smashbox t-shirts, dry fits. So come on out, support us, and enjoy the show. Feel a little bit more wind than we had out here for yesterday morning's round. Still very light at 5 to 10. However, it was almost perfectly dead calm for the entire round yesterday. We did feel a little bit more wind at the Brengle Terrace course where these competitors played yesterday afternoon. 18 holes. And just off the side of the basket there. That is in fact Tommy Ekman. Yesterday we featured his brother Kyle Ekman. And you can see players even using umbrellas simply for shade out in this hot San Diego weather. Measuring in at 403 feet. We're just about to begin here on hole number 1. And there you have it. We are ready to go. PDGA number 4666, Steve Rico on the tee. Seemed as if his drive had gotten pushed down, a little bit of tailwind at his back, pushed it down, didn't allow for it to hyzer as much as he was hoping for, get a little bit of that skip off this hard dirt. Max with a very nice looking shot. Playing it out to that left hand side. Again, not a lot of hyzer finish at the end there as the wind is pushing straight down at the players' backs. Scott Miller with a solid drive out on the right hand side. And fourth to tee, featured in all 3 of our groups this weekend, Patrick Brown. And I think Patrick could have used a little bit more release on the right hand side. Seemed as if he had possibly the nose up. But there you have it. Those are our initial drives right here on hole number 1. We're at the Kit Carson course. Super layout. You're watching the 2014 San Diego Open. Steve Rico is going to be first to putt. He's about equidistant from where Patrick is. He's looking at approximately 55 to 60 feet here, and he is pin high on the right hand side of hole 1. And comes up just a bit short and left. Patrick will be next to putt. And Patrick with a very conservative play right here, right off the bat, rather than running at that. Again, he's feeling a little bit of a crosswind from right to left with where he was staying. He wasn't quite pin high. However, rather than making a run at this, and the basket and green, I should say, slopes somewhat downhill. So, very interesting to see a conservative move right off the bat here by Patrick. I think he knows that the course is going to play a little bit tougher than it did yesterday. And Scott with a somewhat of an Anheuser putt. Again, the wind is almost directly at his back, as it will be here for Max. Anytime you have the wind at your back, whether it's a drive or a putt, you generally have to release it a little bit higher than you normally would, because that wind is going to push it down. Max left with just inside 30 feet here for this birdie 2. And again, Max right off the front of the basket, just a bit low. Assuming we'll see tap-ins by Patrick and Steve, we should see what's known as a star par, meaning all competitors on the card taking a par. Steve with a making sure he's got everything off the disc, ready for that initial chain grab. And Max and Scott will tap in. So, no one has drawn first blood here. This is our first hole of our third round. You're watching the 2014 San Diego Open. We'll be back in a moment right here on Smashbox TV. Little added pressure with the whole world watching, seeing how good that penmanship is. He's usually
I'm getting better at it.
working on that concrete all day, makes for some rough hands, but as I said, all 4 competitors taking 3s here on this first hole. With all 4 players taking pars, it will be the same order with Steve Rico on the tee first. And Steve with a very nice looking forehand, perfectly hitting the gap and having it finish to the right. That's exactly what you're looking to do as a right-handed player here on this hole. Of course, this hole sets up a little easier for Max being left-handed. And a very similar looking shot by the lefty Max. He may have gotten a little more skip action as that was ending its flight path. Scott looking to set up for a forehand shot here. And although it looked a little wide left, Scott got some great skip action out of that. Patrick Brown looking to do the same. And Patrick's catches the right hand side, one of the guardian limbs that is up and on the right hand side. There is in fact a mandatory, actually I should say 2 mandatories on this hole. One of which is this tree on the right hand side. Players must navigate to the left, as we saw all 4 competitors do. If you go out to a course and you see arrows of that nature, that's generally what they're going to be denoting, some form of mandatory or mandy or mando, depending on what area you're from. And certainly an unforced error here by Patrick Brown as he just put a little too much anhyzer on that approach shot. He may in fact have even carried to the OB. I'm not sure that it got that far, but it was a very uncharacteristic mistake there by Patrick. It may cost him an extra stroke or 2. And we can see that Steve and Scott are literally within 3 feet of one another. This is Scott for birdie 2.
Yeah, buddy.
And he makes good. Steve Rico from the exact same distance. I would say just about 30 feet from where he's at. And Steve Rico with a rare missed putt from inside the circle, just a bit short and left. See that Max is left with less than 15 feet to the pin. And Max takes advantage of this very lefty-friendly hole, as he should. And judging by his demeanor and his placement there, looks like Patrick was in fact out of bounds. I'm certain that Patrick will be thinking about that stroke later, as that is a very unforced error. And with the par by Steve Rico and the birdie by Max Nichols here on hole 2, that means Max has officially jumped out to the lead here. I'm guessing we're going to see the lead change a number of times throughout the day, as these guys are very competitive out on this course. However, it is Max with the outright lead after 2 holes. Max throwing a nice turnover shot. This is a double mandatory off the tee, so the players must hit this initial gap, which is approximately 50 to 60 feet off of the tee. Shouldn't be a problem for anyone of this caliber. And as you can see, Scott getting a little wind bounce action out there. Third to the tee is Steve Rico. As he checks the wind, you can see there's a little left to right breeze. And resting right next to Max's drive is Steve's. And Patrick Brown excited to rip a drive out there. Let a little frustration out from the previous hole possibly. Very nice shot by Patrick Brown.
Hi, I'm Alex Geisinger, and you're watching live disc golf on Smashbox TV.
We see some players here on the left-hand side. They are competing here on hole number 1 with this unique format. Today they had players starting on both holes 1 and 10. So some of the players that may have started on 10 are just coming around the corner, meaning they're halfway through their round. See Mark Verocchi, Team DGA, also a gentleman we saw on our broadcast earlier in the year as one of the consummate volunteers and helpers over at the Maple Hill Open. He's usually the gentleman in the scuba gear rescuing thousands of discs throughout that entire week. Solid putt here on hole 1. Mentioned yesterday that holes 1 through 4 are virtually treeless, except for just a couple of initial ones to navigate around. However, this is a very open area with very few obstacles. The players will move into a somewhat more shaded area where there'll be more shot shaping and targeted throws that they'll need to be making, as we're waiting on a few more putts just to clear out over there on hole number 1. Steve Rico will be throwing his approach shot first. Do our best today to bring you as much insider info as we can, telling you what the players are throwing. You know that Steve has thrown one of his favorite green cannons here off the tee. He's going to be approaching with a Ghost. And with that being said, we're back to the action. Steve coming up just a bit short with that. He'll have a short but somewhat downhill putt from there. Scott playing wide and to the right. Not sure if that's going to have enough left skip action or hyzer finish as he was hoping for. And I'm somewhat surprised here to see Max going with a sharp edge. Maybe something very overstable such as a Firebird. And as I mentioned, Patrick had the longest drive of the group here. Patrick asking for it to be nice, so to speak. I think he's hoping for it to slow down. As you can see, when we approach the green, there are some very old and oversized large logs that are up here that somewhat hinder or protect some of the hot shots that might be coming in. And Steve Rico again with that fast green. Really had not much of a choice but to lay up here. If you get too aggressive with that shot, it could cost you an extra stroke or two with that fast green. And Max's shot came in very nicely, finishing just 20 feet to the left of the pin. And as expected, Max makes good. That puts Max 2 down for the round. Also puts him 2 strokes ahead of Rico. We're going to be covering the final 9 live this afternoon, right here on Smashbox TV. Let me give you a quick tip right here and now. If you're watching our video and it does not appear to be high quality or good resolution, go ahead of your viewing page, which has a throwing his driving putter to within a few feet of the pin. Just looking for a layup there, which he's done so nicely. Steve Rico will be next to throw. And Steve with a very nice run from nearly 100 feet. Had a slight downhill slope to that. Looking for it to hyzer into the basket. Again, just a bit off on that right-hand side. And Patrick has put himself within 45 feet of the pin. Again, yesterday he had driven past the basket Today he made a slight adjustment, came up about 45 feet short. He's looking at a birdie 2 opportunity. And just off the top, could have been a little bit of the wind lift and maybe possibly overcompensated. However, he is just off the top of the basket. He's going to have to settle for a 3 here. Scott has no problems putting in for his 3. Steve does the same as well. Max from less than 8 feet. And Patrick wishing he'd thrown that about 6 to 12 inches lower. He's going to have to take a 3 as well. So there you have it. We are 4 holes complete here at the 3rd round of the 2014 San Diego Open. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. We're going to take just a moment. We're going to move over to hole number 5. We'll check out our preview. You're watching Smashbox TV. And Max's shot does not continue to anhyzer. He's looking for it to continue to turn. However, he is out and on the right-hand side. He's safe. Patrick Brown on the tee. Patrick looking for just a little bit of finish. Woo. And he's gotten just that. He's going to be on the left-hand side of the pin. And Scott has hit one of the posts that we find about 125 feet down the fairway. Fortunately, I was coming in just a bit low and got caught up by a post. I feel a left to right breeze here. And Steve was just a bit tight on that left-hand side. Had he gotten past that lower portion of the tree, I believe he would have been right there with a putt. However, caught the tree on the left-hand side and kicked him to the right. Looks like Scott will be throwing first here. And a nice shot over there as he lands on the left-hand side of the pin. And Steve throwing his Icon clutch to the left side of the pin as well. As you can see, this hole sets up in a very difficult way for a left-handed player such as Max. Not only does he have to make the Mando tree, he then has to get it to carry from right to left the length of more than 300 feet, and it's a very challenging shot for him. Ran into the legend Steve Valencia earlier in the day, who's also throws left-handed, and said that this was certainly a challenging hole for him. Looks like Max has gotten almost pin high. He's going to be left with a birdie opportunity over here. And Max's attempt from just outside 45 feet is wide and left. Petra clarifying as to if he is inbounds or not. It is certainly worth noting, if, per PDGA rules, if you are ever close to an out-of-bounds line, it is always best to make sure that your competitors can verify that you are in fact in bounds. Otherwise, the default is to assume that you're in fact out of bounds. So anytime you are close to an out-of-bounds line, make sure you have at least one other card mate come take a look, as Patrick makes good on birdie 2. Do not just assume that all of your card mates know you're in bounds. Certainly make sure that they come over and take a look at it. And also, we are directly in line with Max's throw. All of our top professionals will tell you they're more than fine with you being in line with them. However, you need to stand perfectly still when doing so. And there you have it. I refrained from any jumping jacks on that one. I usually do. And Max makes good, as does Steve Rico. So we see 3 pars and a single birdie by Patrick Brown. We're nearly 1/3 of the way through the round. We're going to take a quick walk across the street here to hole number 6. Get across the street, he is safe. And Max has thrown a slight hyzer from left to right here. Looks like Scott is setting up for a forehand shot.
Hit inbounds. The curve was out. Hit inbounds.
All right, Scott.
He hit the curb there on the stop. Curb.
And as we can see, there's a few brief distractions. Patrick had mentioned earlier when we walked right up to tee that he wanted to hurry up and throw, so to speak, because we were stalled here for a few minutes yesterday. Steve Rico, fourth to tee. And Steve Rico has landed inbounds on the grass on the left-hand side. Sounds as if there's going to be a clarification on the rules here.
Drop zone. Take a couple of these over to Mark.
Scott's disc came in and he was certainly worried about it hitting the curb, and it seemed to have done just that. When going OB here on this hole, you move to the drop zone. At some tournaments you'll find that you will play where you were last inbounds, and some tournaments you will move to a drop zone on any given hole. And Scott throws a perfect shot right next to the basket here from the drop zone. With penalty, Scott will likely be carding a bogey 4 on this hole. One reason you may see tournaments use a drop zone, especially in a situation like this, is it somewhat relieves the ambiguity as to where the player was last inbounds or not. In this case, it is a perfect example, just knowing he was out of bounds, so he goes ahead and plays it from the drop zone. Steve Rico will be throwing first. And with a very valiant effort, Steve Rico takes the Anheuser and comes just inside the basket. That was a very challenging putt from that distance. Patrick is left with more than 50 feet here for his birdie opportunity. And just off the front of the basket. And Max was, in fact, stopped by the upper edge of the curb here, it looks like. He needs to take a 1 meter relief, even if that does bring him closer to the hole. Anytime you're near the out of bounds line, you can bring up to 1 meter in. And Max, solid left side chain coming in on that hyzer putt for him. He's going to be carding the only birdie too. He's going to be picking up likely 2 strokes on Scott Miller on this hole, and 1 on Patrick Brown, and also 1 on Steve Rico. Max told us before the round started he is comfortable, he's familiar, and right now he seems to be on fire. We are through 6 holes. We have a somewhat of a medium-sized walk over to hole number 7. We're going to stand down for just a few moments. Again, you're watching the 2014 San Diego Open. Live disc golf coverage brought to you by Smashbox TV and the fine gentlemen over at Legacy Discs. We'll be back in a moment.
Hi, we're here on hole 7, about 350 feet away. You want to be careful because there's OB on the left beyond the creek, and also not too far right because there's OB to the right of the sidewalk.
I'm Kelsey Wilmerding, and you're watching Live Disc Golf on Smashbox TV.
Hi, I'm Don Loper with Loper Financial Group, where the best investment is a great agent. I'm so happy and proud and excited to support Smashbox TV and their live disc golf coverage. Play with confidence.
So they should be ready to go. Here's good. And welcome back to hole number 7. Again, we are 1/3 of the way through this 18-hole round. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and you are watching live disc golf coverage right here on Smashbox TV. Max Nichols has jumped out with confidence and is trying to take a lead into that final 9 right now. Yesterday we saw Max start out very strong as well, and Steve Rico, as he said, just had to somewhat run him down and stay within striking distance of him, and Max seems to be doing the same again today. And Max has thrown what looks to be a very good looking shot. Looking for confirmation. His brother is caddying for him, as he was yesterday. Micah Dorius, you may have seen just in the sandy gully a moment ago. We've got Patrick Brown. He's going to be looking to come right at us. And getting the unofficial marking from Micah. Looks as if Patrick is in fact out of bounds. Again, a optimum shot from a right-handed competitor would be to throw straight at us, as Steve Rico is doing. Looking for a little skip and placing himself inside the circle. He's just 29 feet short of the pin. Looks like Scott is going with a forehand approach. There is a slight left to right wind, so this forehand should set up nicely for him. And he has also placed himself just inside the circle's edge. Very nice shot by Scott Miller. Patrick Brown may be out of bounds. Unofficially, it seems as if. We know that you are out there watching the live action. We are providing the only live action you are seeing this weekend, and we are glad to be doing so. We are out here in the San Diego, California area. This morning we are at Kit Carson Park, and we are taking it all in. This PDGA A-Tier event has grown steadily over the last few years. The fine folks over at Kinetic Disc Golf have been gradually building it. We are honored to be here and part of the event. Please go out and like and share this link. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube and Facebook. You can find us on Smashbox TV on both. We're also at Smashbox TV on our Twitter account. And we are going to get a clarification. It looks as if literally by less than an inch we see that Patrick Brown, his tee shot is out of bounds. Patrick throwing his Champion Rock 3. And Patrick is off the side of the basket. Patrick is going to be carding a bogey 4. As we said earlier, he has been out here all week long helping Max in setting up this course and preparing for it, and I believe even under his breath I heard him say he had created that string himself. Unfortunately, it was about an inch too far to the right for what he was looking for on that shot. Max has another look at birdie here. This is uphill and just inside 30 feet. Hometown boy makes good. Max with another birdie. Also left with a birdie opportunity, Steve Rico. And Steve makes good on his birdie. Steve and Max carding birdie 2s, each of them gaining at least 2 strokes here on Patrick. They may be gaining 1 or 0 here on Scott, depending if Scott can convert. And Scott, unfortunately, is wide right.
Damn it, Terry.
Scott's certainly not blaming us for that. And Scott will put in for his par 3. So there you have it. Birdies by Max and Steve Rico, par by Scott Miller, and a bogey 4 by Patrick Brown. There you have it. That is hole number 7. We're going to take a quick walk over here. We'll see what AJ and Vanessa have to say about hole number 8. And a very nice looking shot by Max. Unfortunately, just catches the base of the tree on that left-hand side. This would be Steve Rico. And Steve catches the initial tree here on the left-hand side. Third to tee will be Scott Miller. And Scott going with a backhand up the right-hand side. Unfortunately, it looks like it's just a bit low. Not getting any skip in that longer grass. And Patrick throwing a nearly perfect shot here with a low forehand going right toward the basket. Steve Rico is going to be first to throw. Again, you're watching the 2014 San Diego Open third round coverage here at Kit Carson Park. And Steve approaches to within 5 feet of the basket. Scott's approach shot hits the final guardian tree near the basket and unfortunately does not get a friendly kick as it moves over to the right, kicking him at least 6 to 8 feet further from the pin. We're going to move over behind Max and see exactly what he's looking at. And Max's attempt is just a bit high and right. Unfortunately, it looks like we may have caught up to the group in front of us. Our players certainly could take that as a hint that they can take all the time that they need. Otherwise, they're simply going to be waiting on the group in front of them. And Patrick makes good, solid recovery after the bogey 4 on hole number 7. He answers here with a birdie on 8. Scott with a pair of pars after the bogey on 6. Steve Rico also with a par here. And Max with a par as well. We are through 8 holes here at the 2014 San Diego Open third round coverage. We're going to stand down for just a few moments as our players get into position. We hope that you're enjoying the show. We will be back with you shortly, and we're going to be teeing off on hole number 9. I think we're going to relax for a few minutes here. Let's double check. Minutes. Hey, you good with us staying down for a couple minutes?
Different, huh? I've been sponsor Max for 4 years.
I thought when you looked at it, you about not standing there.
No, you do what you want.
Can you not stick this thing in the basket when the guy's putting? You're not doing it? It's in the basket. I heard guys complaining about it yesterday, and it definitely affects me.
Yeah, I saw it down the thread of the fairway.
It's all about practice, preparation, and routine. Approaching the tee shot, I always line up my shot and check the wind direction. Always take into consideration the trees that are out there and the out of bounds that are marked off. I try to keep everything slow on my run up and build momentum as I get to the end of the tee pad. Trust your shot, believe in yourself, let the disc do the work. Legacy Disc. Play with confidence.
My name is Connor Wright. My PJ number is 57322, and I've been playing for 2.5 years. My favorite thing about disc golf is all the people that are associated with it, and also just like the flight of the disc. The flight of the disc, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like really cool to me. Having like that pullback and just knowing that you generate that much power, I mean, it's pretty cool. It just feels good. I mean, just kind of like, I don't know, it's something about it. Well, my favorite disc is a Pinnacle Rival. I've had it for like probably 6 months now, and it's like the perfect beat-in. It's like my most reliable disc. I use it probably 40% off all the tee pads. I mean, this thing is like my go-to. Like, I don't know what I would do if I lost it. It's one thing I finally figured out with my putting. Finding a routine is like one of the biggest things for me. Honestly, if you don't have confidence in your shots, then you're just not gonna play good, because if you look at your shot and you look at your line and you think, well, I'm probably not going to hit this, but you throw it anyways, you're probably going to mess up. But if you say, you know, it's going to work out perfectly, you imagine your disc flying through that line, it's going to work out. Play with confidence.
I'm Cale Aviska from Minnesota, and you're watching Smashbox TV, baby.
All right, everyone, welcome back. We are here on hole 9. After carding the birdie 2 on hole number 8, we have Patrick Brown on the tee. And Patrick catching a cable, some kind of a post there. I'm not sure if that post is a fence line or cable line, but either way, he had caught a post and kicked straight right. He may or may not be OB. That is not what he was looking for here on hole number 9. And Max was going for the layup. However, it looks like he may have let off a little too much. He's hit the tree and it carried down into the left. It looks as if he may have kicked into the out of bounds. It's going to leave an opportunity here for Steve Rico and try and get a stroke back. And Steve going with the wide hyzer route gets a kiss off the secondary set of trees. And Scott's is low, however it creeps up and onto the top of the hill. Looks as if he's going to have the cleanest look here after these tee shots. All 4 of these competitors throwing what seem to be less than ideal tee shots. This heat may be getting to them, or a little bit of the pressure as we're coming into the final 10 to 18 holes, depending on where they're placed. They do have these 10 holes, and then again, the top 4 competitors are going to move into a final 9. Commonly you hear players asking to get a spot, so to speak. What they mean by that is they need the rest of their group to decide as to exactly where they went out of bounds. They want to make sure it's a group consensus. So they're looking for a lie or an official spot as to where they'll throw from next. So anytime you hear a competitor say they're looking to get a spot, that's exactly what they're referring to. Beautiful mini Max says he made himself just a few days ago. Some cute craftsmanship there by our leader. Certainly seems to be sending the right message. Big old smiley face, which is what you should always have when competing here at the highest levels. Max looking for his drive to flip, meaning he wanted to turn over from right to left. However, looks as if that hyzered most of the way. He's going to put himself in a position where he may just need to lay up from that spot on the right hand side. I don't think he's going to have a very clean look at the basket. And if one of these other players can get up and down, they may be able to take advantage of Max's misstep here on the 9th hole. Steve Rico is looking to line up a forehand shot. I think he's just trying to determine exactly if he wants to go to the right of this tree we see in front of you or to the left. Looks like he's got a little bit more room on the left-hand side. However, that will bring him out near the out of bounds. There is a string that runs through the center of that creek bed, and we just saw Max on the wrong side, so to speak, costing him a penalty stroke. So if Steve's going to get aggressive and throw a forehand here, he's going to want to make sure that it finishes hard right. And Steve catches one of the two trees. He is inbound. He's going to be able to get up and down from there. However, he's looking for a little more carry on that shot. Scott's looking to do the same. However, Scott's in a much better position and has a much easier angle at this than Steve did. And Scott takes advantage and puts himself within a few feet of the pin. Again, he's looking to pick up a stroke on possibly the rest of his card mates here. And in a series of unfortunate events, not only does Patrick hit the post, which is considered inbounds, however, he carries to the right and finds himself on the sidewalk. Sidewalk and beyond on this hole is considered out of bounds. Again, as we said before, anytime you're near the OB, you can take 1 meter relief. And in somewhat of a hurried fashion, Patrick releases low. And with that being said, he's left himself more than 50 feet from the pin, letting a little frustration come through. I think we're going to see Steve will be next to throw. And a very nice run here by Steve Rico, just barely missing the chains. Looks like it will in fact be Max is going to have a lefty hyzer here around this. And that's the best he can really do from that angle. Oh, and dancing on the right-hand side. Patrick goes to chase down that putt, and it managed to stay in on the right-hand side. This is Scott for his birdie 3. And unfortunately, he is not converting there. Did not convert, I should say. And he's going to give away a great opportunity to gain a stroke there. Rest of the card certainly struggled here. Steve's going to put in for a 3. And with that being said, we're going to move over to the elevated basket. Steve apologizing for the less than stellar play. However, we know that the pressures and challenges here these guys are faced with is greater than any of your regular at-home play. So, with that being said, we're going to move over here to the the tee of hole number 10.
Rico, 4. Scott, 4.
We have Patrick Brown on the tee here, hole number 10, elevated basket measuring in just short of 300 feet. Gallery is picked up and is getting excited here. They know that these competitors have 9 holes to go here in this round. We know our competitors are excited and enthused to put on a good show for them, and I know Steve's looking to pick up his game here a little bit. Enthusiastic clap from the gallery. Steve throws a very nice tee shot. Scott goes with a forehand, flirts with that left-hand side OB. However, very nice looking shot. Max is looking to take a similar angle that we just saw from Scott, being a lefty.
Drop it. Yeah. Off the rock.
Max's shot climbing up and over the rock. Not too often do we see a skip or a bounce of that fashion. Again, you're tuned in and you're watching our 3rd round coverage here at the San Diego Open. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. We'd like to thank all of our amazing broadcast supporters and sponsors. Of course, this would not be possible without the help and support, first and foremost, by Legacy Disc. They have stepped up in a major way this entire year, helping us bring you live disc golf action throughout the entire 2014 season. Our friends over at Sandy Point Resort, Mike and Michelle Cousins, bringing you our leaderboard action, sandypt.com, if you want to check them out. Keen Footwear, David Monk and the rest of the crew, making sure that we have all of the nicest footwear for out here playing disc golf, including, you see Steve Rico and Max, both sporting a pair of Keen shoes. And Scott's going to stand down just for a moment so the distraction of a truck on the road behind him can pass by. And from 36 feet, Scott makes good. And getting back to our sponsors in Don Loper and Loper Financial Services has recently come on board, along with Night Eyes and of course Miles Parkhill over at Paragon Disc Golf. Thank you to all of our amazing sponsors. And in rare fashion, we see Max Nichols miss a putt inside the circle. That is very uncharacteristic of Max. And Patrick somehow gets that to get in and stay in. Not sure he's feeling as confident as he would like to about that. Steve Rico right into the center of the chains. We have 3 birdies here and a par by Max. All 3 competitors are going to be getting a stroke back on our current leader. This is our first elevated basket that we've seen this round. We'll see a few more in the upcoming holes. If you have not seen an elevated basket before, these are commonly done to add a little more challenge and difficulty to what might be an otherwise easy pin placement. And we will see them getting taller and taller as the rest of the round goes on. In fact, I believe this is the shortest elevated basket that we'll see this round. We're going to move behind us into the fairway of hole number 11. Again, you're watching the 2014 San Diego Open. And we are set up here in the middle of hole number 11. This par 4 hole is not as easy as these players would like it to be. Yesterday we found all 4 of our competitors struggling on this hole. Placement on the drive is absolutely crucial out here. If you are not placed in a good position, it makes it nearly impossible to attack the pin effectively for a birdie 3. We saw just that yesterday when we watched 2 of our competitors actually throw out of bounds. And speaking of yesterday's rounds, we were so glad to bring you both rounds 1 and 2 First round being at right here at Kit Carson Park. Second round we moved over to Bringle Terrace. And that round is available, however, we are re-archiving it as there seems to be a glitch on YouTube server. And with that being said, we just saw somehow Patrick Brown sneakily throw right past us. Move into better position for you here. And here comes Steve Rico's drive. And very tough to follow as this hole is guarded by a plethora of trees. Third on the tee, also carding a birdie 2 on the previous hole. This is Scott Miller. And Scott with a much lower shot than what we've found from Steve's. If the players were to carry all the way to this hillside that's directly in front of us, which we stand on top of, that would be considered an excellent shot. Max is going to come in at a slightly different angle. And here comes Max tee shot, which catches a little bit of a limb, however, gets a good carry after that. As I was saying, yesterday's Bringle Terrace round number 2 was streamed nearly flawlessly online. You were able to watch it throughout its entirety. However, when YouTube went to archive it automatically for us, it seems as if there was a glitch on their end. So we are currently working to render and re-upload that entire round for you. We're just simply pulling from our backup copy. Thankfully, our IT genius and producer back in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, was able to copy from our backup. And again, we will be uploading that later on this evening here on Sunday night. So you should see it by either late Sunday night or Monday morning. I want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to go out and check out the second round action from Bringle Terrace. Johnny V back on the controls, as we said, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, also doing all of the producing and keeping up with you as best as he can on the live YouTube chat room. Please go out and have a word with him as best as you can. He'll try to interact and give you any information he can, and I'm out here in the field. You're more than welcome to send me a message, reach out to me. If you even want to send me a text message, I am available, 414-803-3307. Of course, all standard messaging and data and airtime rates apply. Steve Rico on a dead sprint. Not sure if... Yeah, he's just getting timed for the 40. And he's going to be thrown right at us as he's informed us. We're going to move out of his way. Maybe he's not doing the 40. I guess he's just checking out his line of sight. We also spoke with Scott Miller, and Scott said he is not used to playing on camera. There's a little added pressure here, and he asked that. Wanted to make sure that we would move out of his line of sight anytime we might be in it when it comes to a putt, and we of course will oblige. As we learn and grow here at Smashbox TV, we want all of our players to know that they are our first and most important priority. We want them to make sure they score well, and hopefully we can capture the action in the meantime. However, their scores and their competitive play is what's most important to us, so we'll gladly oblige in any way we can. Many people do ask if the players mind the commentary, and in similar fashion, I try to be as quiet as possible when I am near our competitors. And Steve Rico's roller comes firing closer to us than he was anticipating. We're going to move behind We're going to move over here by Max Nichols. Steve telling us that he's not sure that it can get much worse. Steve feeling like he is certainly struggling out here today. And Max looks to have thrown a very nice shot. Tough to tell with that small hill in between us. However, the gallery gives him a small round of applause. As you can see, this hillside in front of us can add to the deception here on this hole. And Scott going with a forehand, gets a little bit of a wind lift, and he's happy with his shot, as is the gallery. And as I mentioned just a few moments ago, we are on another elevated basket. We will see this here and on hole number 15. That one seems to be the highest of the 3 elevated baskets. And again, in very quick fashion, Patrick has gotten up and thrown to within a few feet of the pin. He's on the left-hand side, really playing this in a textbook fashion. However, we've yet to catch one of his shots because they're in a somewhat hurried composition. Steve Rico is here on the right-hand side after throwing a roller, which simply turned over on him more than he was hoping for. He was in a very precarious spot, again having to deal with the mound and a low ceiling. Thought roller was his best option. Unfortunately, it flipped up on him and carried all the way to this right-hand side. Feeling our strongest bout of headwind here, which is exactly what Steve is going to be throwing to. And he has thrown short to at least 25 feet short of the pin. Max checking the wind. He's got at least 30, maybe 35 feet to this pin. Again, this elevated basket, so it's going to play a little bit longer. As you can see, he's got a right to left wind pushing. And just off the front of the basket, Max and the rest of his competitors thought that he might have had that. Steve Rico with approximately 25 feet. And with authority, smashes right into the center of the chains. Max will tap in and take a par 4 here. Scott Miller is nearly under the basket, and Patrick Brown is left with less than 10 feet. Patrick in for a birdie 3. Scott looking to do the same. And with the wind push, he's still in there. That gives Scott Miller and Patrick Brown birdie 3s. Steve Rico and Max Nichols here with par 4s. We're going to move over to what many consider their favorite hole on the course. Again, you're watching the 2014 San Diego Open. And we are here hanging out as there is a gallery that continues to form. Some of the players are coming off of the round that they played earlier today. For a quick score update, we have Max Nichols sitting at 18 under par. He is 3 down for the round. Steve Rico, 17 under par at 2 down for the round. Patrick at 15 and Scott at 15 as well. Patrick being 3 down and Scott 2 down. So 18, 17, 15, and 15 is a very tight competitive race. You wouldn't know by some of the frustrations that you've seen. However, these players are still very closely aligned. We're here on hole number 12, which is the par 4, and many consider one of their favorite and most beautiful holes found out here at this course. Steve Rico with an enthusiastic shout out to all of his friends and family out there. Steve's just super excited about getting back to concrete work tomorrow. Okay, maybe not.
Make that money.
The rest of the day tomorrow.
Oh, stoked. Hope he doesn't leave. You got your back right now. You show that? What's his name? Oh, Chauncey. Chauncey the Beetle.
I'm going to move over. We can see some of the action here on hole number 14. This is the tee shots that you find on hole number 14, a very, very challenging par 4, which plays down toward a road and parking lot area, and then the players must throw over that to attack a green on the left-hand side. I'm not sure if the heat is getting to me or if I'm seeing things, but that looks like a beanie hat out here in 85 to 90 degree weather, and it's making me sweat just looking that direction. I give everyone out here in California a huge credit to anyone that can withstand some of these heat and conditions on any given day. Again, we're seeing a little bit more wind than we've seen in the previous 2 rounds. However, it is still relatively light at just 5 to 10 miles per hour. That is certainly what we would consider here at Smashbox, of wearing your beanie with confidence. Patrick is soon to tee. And with that being said, it looks like we are live. Patrick going with a Sky Anheuser backhand roller. Not as much Sky as simply backhand roller. That should work for him. And Scott going out and over the OB fence and coming back in easily on the left-hand side. Steve Rico sporting his Kozo Shimbos Keen shoes. And Steve also going with a big turnover shot, which looks very nice. He should be able to approach from there. And Max flirts for a moment there, hoping that a gust of wind wouldn't push it down, and goes out and over the OB, and he hits safely back in. We see groups stacked up on the next two holes. We're hoping that the flow of play may pick up for them as our group approaches them. One thing you may find in professional or amateur tournament play is generally going to be slower than you'll find at casual play at your local course on any given day. Players just being a little more conscientious and diligent of the rules, usually standing still and or being less distracting when you're out playing. However, it does also give you a heightened sense of professionalism anytime you're competing in an official tournament. Of course, you can go to the PDGA.com, that's PDGA.com, for more than 1,300 sanctioned disc golf tournaments that you'll find in 2014. I'm sure there's going to be closer to 1,500 or 1,600 by 2015. And Max coming up short of the OB. Match on the left-hand side. And Scott throwing a forehand. I believe he called this the Kit Carson Forehand Clinic.
No,
And
Scott,
he
I'm not taking your chair.
and he says there are more coming. Just to answer a question or clarification we've heard in the past, currently video is not permissible to be reviewed or to help make or determine a call anytime these competitors are out here playing. At the moment, that is not something that can be reviewed and be used to aid or assist in call making. That may change as our technology and or coverage gets better. I know one thing we're working on here at Smashbox, in the next few months you should see replay provided by us at Smashbox TV. You'll be able to make your own decisions and calls from there on any given event. So we are working on that, one of our many enhancements that we're looking forward to in the next few months. You will see instant replay. Steve and Max trying to make a determination as to if Max in fact cleared it again. I know I was zoomed in and I could possibly make a clarification, however, not useful or relevant or allowed, most importantly, here in making a final call. Looks like Max was in fact short though, and he will be putting from this side. This is very critical. Had Max touched inbounds on that side of the OB pond, so to speak, he would be able to putt from that side. However, it does not appear that he did. And Max is off the top of the basket. A very good looking run. Unfortunately, he's going to be settling for a bogey 5. After taking the penalty stroke. And somehow Patrick Brown gets that one to stay in. He certainly has had his fair share of challenges out here today. However, I think that one certainly went in his favor. He's going to have to check the scoreboard there as to if he's on the plus or negative side of good or bad breaks here, but that one was for the good on his part. After throwing a beautiful forehand shot, Scott's putt comes up just a bit short. Max here is tapping in for bogey 5 after a very solid run to save par. And Steve Rico is in for a birdie 3. With that being said, we may have a lead change. We're going to confirm with the leader card presented by Sandy Point Resort, but I believe we may have a lead change with Steve Rico pulling into the lead. We're going to take a brief walk over to hole number 13. Thank you for tuning in and watching the 2014 San Diego Open.
last 2 holes.
This one you just got to do? Okay. So that was... What hole is this right now?
This one's going to be 13, that was 12.
Okay, cool. Max, last 2 holes?
Max, last 2 holes. 4, 5.
4-3, Steve? Okay, I'm 3-4.
And there you have it, your super up-to-date live score update. We have Patrick Brown on the tee.
All good?
And Patrick doesn't get the slide he was looking for. Steve Rico on the tee with a forehand shot. And Steve hanging that one out further left. The wind may have pushed it. We feel a little bit of a headwind or a right to left.
You want to tell which way the wind is?
Slight gust of dirt and wind. And Scott asking for it to get just inside that. Unfortunately, he meant to come up short and get right of that. Instead, it went just literally inside that bush. Max hit the basket here yesterday, or tickled some chain. Hope we can recreate that today. And Max looked like it was a perfect throw. Somehow it got on edge. Not sure it hit the pole or basket or what in the world it may have happened. Unfortunately, he has rolled away to at least 100 feet from the pin. Looked like he was going to be absolutely parked. And that looks like one of the rollaways you can get out here on this very dry, hard dirt out here at the Kit Carson course. Currently we have Max and Steve battling it out here on this leader card. However, both of the competitors do not feel like they're playing their best game, and they realize that although they are in first and second respectively on this card, they know that someone shooting hot from the second or third card does have the opportunity to come up and try and catch them. We're going to ask Steve Rico, did that possibly hit the pole and roll away, or?
I came up short and caught some of the edge of these bushes. It was going to be in a circle and then rolled away. The wind caught it. Just kind of took it down towards the fence.
As Steve said, it caught something here on the right-hand side while heading straight toward the pin. In a very unfortunate break for Max. He should be able to get up and down and save a par 3 here. However, his tee shot, you would have thought he was looking at a birdie. And he just barely misses putting it in from his extended lie. Patrick is on the And not too many options here for Patrick except for to lay out, lay up, and get out. And Scott just barely misses that. Nice shot from the carrying to the right of the basket. And Steve Rico is going to pounce, taking advantage. Coming in with that birdie 2 here on hole number 13. And just like that, we've seen him pick up 3 strokes on Max Nichols, who was the leader. And Max will put in for his par 3. We expect the same of Scott. And Patrick will also do the same. Hole 13 proved to be a little more exciting than expected. We're going to take a brief 100-foot walk over here to hole number 14, this very challenging par 4. And it looks as if there is at least a group or 2. And as I said, we have a significant backup here. We have a group on the hole that is in the middle of the fairway. They have just thrown their initial tee shots. We have an entire second group that is not the second card of the event, but it is the second group out here. And then we have our leader card. So with that being said, I believe what we will do is we're going to stand down for just a few moments. We're going to get everything in place where we need to be. We hope that you are enjoying all of the action here. This is third round coverage of the 2014 San Diego Open. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. We're going to stand down for a few moments. We can check in with a few words from our sponsors. Sit back, relax, go catch yourself a refreshment, because we're going to do the same. Again, you're watching Smashbox TV. We'll be back with you shortly. Hello everyone, we hope you're enjoying the show here on Smashbox TV. I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and our show would not be possible without the amazing help and support and sponsors that we have. First and foremost this week, Legacy Discs. That's right, Legacy Discs out of California, Sylmar, California. Bamba, Steve, Freddie, Steve, all the guys over there, amazing support. Thank you guys for getting Smashbox TV up and off the ground. Play with confidence. Also, we have the PDGA. Our Professional Disc Golf Association has been supporting us from day one, and thank you for everything that you guys do. You are our disc golf ambassadors. Thank you so much. Of course, we have Miles Parkhill over at Paragon Disc Golf. Miles provides some of the best merchandise to all of clubs and tournaments throughout the entire country. And without Miles Parkhill at Paragon, we wouldn't be where we are. Last but not least, Sandy Point Resort and Disc Golf Ranch. Mike and Michelle Cousins in northern Wisconsin have been absolutely amazing. They're bringing you the leaderboard throughout the entire week. Sandy Point Resort and Disc Golf Ranch. Check them out. It is my favorite disc golf course anywhere in the country. Check them out. sandypt.com, Sandy Point Resort and Disc Golf Ranch. So there you have it. We have an amazing set of sponsors. Everyone else that tunes in, watches, supports us on YouTube, supports us via Facebook, shares, likes, Twitters, the whole 9 yards. We also have our first run of Smashbox t-shirts, dry fits. So come on out, support us, and enjoy the show. I'm the Disc Golf Guy. 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 And this is my video blog. I'm the Disc Golf Guy, and this is my video blog. Today we are at the 19th Hole Pro Shop here in Sylmar, California. I'm joined by one of the Legacy co-owners in Steve Rico. Steve, we're talking new discs today. What do you got for us?
Well, we'll start with the Bandit first. It's a Speed 9 driver that we just came out with. It's great for like low flip-up shots. You can throw and bend it around corners, throw rollers with it. Really neutral disc, very fast, has a lot of glide, and I think the whole world's going to really like it.
Yeah, I saw you throwing in the field as they're watching. There's a lot of things that you can do with it, and if you have too much power, maybe you just need to lay off it a little bit, but you can really control it to do whatever you want.
Yeah, I throw it mainly with a fan grip, so I'm not powering it over too much, but it's really nice for like flip-up shots, you know, through the woods, and like I said, you can throw long rollers with it. It's got a lot of glide, so I know a lot of people really like the glide that it has.
Good. And now we're going to move on to a little bit slower speed. We're moving over to the Gauge, and I say slower, but not by much. Tell us all about that.
It's our newest mid-range out. It's really nice, got a good feel to it. It comes out of the hand really smooth and clean. And this disc will hold any line you put it on. You can throw it straight, you can bend it right, you can hyzer it. It pretty much will do anything, whatever angle leaves your hand, it'll hold that line throughout the whole flight.
And now we're seeing both of these plastics. When you come out with them, which style of plastic should I say did they come in?
They're both in Icon right now. Pretty soon they'll be in Pinnacle, and then we'll move on to Protege and Excel and those lines later on next year.
And it's smaller driver, so it's probably about a 174, 175 max weight, and then on the Gauge, a little bit larger diameter, you're talking 180 grams max weight,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else anyone should know about these two discs that just hit the market?
Just go out and give them a try. I guarantee you're going to like them. Like I said, these discs are, the driver's got a lot of glide. I mean, you can throw a lot of different types of shots with it, and the Gauge will hold any line you put it on. Go out there and try it. I guarantee you really like it.
All right. Well, with that being said, this is our new product segment. We got great new discs here by Legacy. Steve Rico, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and as always,
play with confidence.
I'm the Disc Golf Guy, and this is my video blog. I'm joined here today by Cale Leviska in Minnesota. We are at the Airborne Disc Golf Emporium. Cale, is this every disc golfer's dream come true? Here we are in your own shop.
Welcome, Terry. This has definitely been my dream. We built a little playpen for ourselves. As you can probably hear, we got a lot going on in here for AM Worlds this week. But yeah, this was my dream, to build a place that people could come enjoy, spread the love of disc golf, get creative with stuff that we wanted to make, and we built this place, and if you build it, they will come.
Yeah, or we built it on rock and roll. That's a tune before your day. Anyway, it's been pretty exciting. There is, like you said, a ton of action going around here with all the AM Worlds competitors, nearly 700 competitors from all over the world. What's it been like with this atmosphere and the excitement or energy? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's been fantastic. I mean, we in Minnesota feel like we're very lucky with the amount of disc golf courses we have, the community we have, and so we have 700 AMs coming into town that get to enjoy what we love and we've built, and we're very proud to have everyone here. Personally, in the shop the last last week, it's been absolutely crazy. We've had so many people coming in, enjoying the place. So it's amazing how word is spread about Minnesota disc golf and Airborne in particular, and we've been having fun having everyone in the shop and showing them a good time.
There is an outrageous amount of courses. You guys, like you said, you're so blessed, and there are so many courses just in the Twin Cities alone. If you were to say go an hour away from your shop here in what, South St. Paul or what?
Yeah, we're in St. Paul. Yeah.
If you were to go an hour away from your shop in any given direction, how many courses do you think you could hit up if you were to go an hour away?
This is just an estimation, but I would have to say there's at least 70 to 80. I mean, if you go a mile, in any direction, we're so blessed. Some of them are 9 holes and a lot more recreational courses, but it's just overwhelming the amount that we have, and then it's showing because the amount of players is really following suit.
There is, and now we're seeing a number of shops that are actually all over the Twin Cities. It seems like everyone can find discs somewhere. What's so unique about Airborne when people come in and get to play? I know one thing that is, but why don't you tell everyone what's so unique about coming into your shop?
Well, the beauty of our place, we like to think of it more of like a lounge and a pro shop, a place where people can come in, throw some discs, test their arm speed. All winter we actually have a putting league, which has been very huge for us with these Minnesota winters, where people can come in, and a couple of the weeks we had like 50-60 people come through during the weekly putting leagues. But we try to create new artwork, always making new clothing, hats, just keep it fun for people, keep it fresh. And we thought if we built the place that we'd want to hang out at, that people would enjoy it, and I think they have.
Now, we've seen behind your driving cage or range, we'll say, is our Legacy banner. Let's talk a little bit about how you're inclusive. Obviously, you're sponsored by Prodigy. That's not a big secret, even co-owner, but yet you have various brands here and you're kind of representing everyone.
Yeah, Minnesota, we have so many different golfers, so many people like different brands, different companies, and Steve Rico with Legacy has been a huge supporter of us, so we're honored to have him in our driving nets, and kind of use that as a target to try to hit dead center down those fairways, but do a lot of Prodigy in here, but we try to support all the companies that support disc golf, and in our game there's very many of them. So
there is,
yeah.
And now your driving net is I would say one of the most unique features here. You've got great artwork, tons of discs, and a great place to hang out, but the driving net along with how fast you're able to throw, and then you've kind of got a wall of fame for everybody in their top throws. What's it been like seeing some of these arms come through here, and are you surprised by any of the top scores or the top mile per hours that you're seeing?
Well, actually, I'm very surprised this week by all these juniors. I've seen these kids come in and throwing 60 miles per hour, which is absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, for people that don't understand the speed, 60 miles per hour is very fast. The fastest we've had in here has been 85 miles per hour by Alex Geisinger, which is very mind-blowing. I think it's 3 miles per hour off the world record, actually, by Simon Lizotte. So,
and it, I guess that definitely is relative. If you're throwing 85 miles an hour, you're also throwing 600 and 700 feet out on the course. Is that true? Didn't Alex just set or break a Minnesota state distance record?
Absolutely, yeah. I'd say anything over 80 is at least equivalent to about 700 feet, but I mean, anything over 60 miles per hour is mind-blowingly fast. We just had Paige Pearson here last week, though, 69, which, I mean...
And she's one of the furthest throw in the game, so like you're saying, it's pretty amazing. What's your record speed here?
When we first got the radar gun, I was hitting 77, 78, and I was so frustrated that I couldn't hit 80, so I said I'm not putting my name up on the wall until I do, so
there you go.
I gotta hit the gym a little bit to get on Alex's level, I guess.
There you go. I didn't throw it. If you said that, I'm just going to guess I'm about 76. I definitely don't throw as hard as you.
I was thinking closer towards 86.
No. I'm definitely more like 76 if you're throwing 77 or 78. I got to hit the gym for different reasons, though. So, any parting shots here at Airborne, and anyone you want to thank? Or
I just would like to say how honored we are in Minnesota to have the Amateur World Championships, and I hope everyone enjoys themselves and enjoys these wonderful courses that we have. And I hope you guys enjoy the show that Smashbox and Terry are putting on, and thank you guys for all you're doing too.
Absolutely, we'll appreciate it. If they want to come check out Airborne, where do they got to do it?
St. Paul, Minnesota, baby. Come check us out when you're in town. We'd really love to have you.
All right, well there you have it. One of the top players in all of disc golf, and definitely one of the most beloved players in Minnesota and beyond, Cale Leiviska, here at Airborne Disc Golf Emporium.
Most understable one there. I can't reach it like
What is like the thing that tells you the disc is done? When are you like, now this is ready?
When he puts it in his bag. When he puts it in his bag, it's ready. Yeah, we kind of throw it, test the different runs, and go with what's flying the best, most consistent. We can go up and down with different weights to change the flights and do different stuff as we're testing them. Different colors matter also. So the weights are going to be more weight now. The weights are about 8 grams difference. We made and designed the mold to do a specific thing. So we're out there testing the mold, testing the plastics to make sure that's how we design the disc so we can fly the way we want to.
My name is Connor Wright. My PJ number is 57322, and I've been playing for 2.5 years. My favorite thing about disc golf is all the people that are associated with it, and also just like the flight of the disc. The flight of the disc, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like really cool to me. Having like that pull back and just knowing that you generate that much power, I mean, it's pretty cool. It just feels good. I mean, just kind of like, I don't know, it's something about it. Well, my favorite disc is a Pinnacle Rival. I've had it for like probably 6 months now, and it's like the perfect beat-in. It's like my most reliable disc. I use it probably 40% off all the tee pads. I mean, this thing is like my go-to.
Hello and welcome back, everyone. You've been watching our tee shots here on hole number 14. We've got Max Nichols on the tee and very low, but getting multiple skips. Max certainly had a misfire there, throwing it a little bit too low. We saw solid drives by the rest of the group, and again, we've seen a little shift in momentum here on this leader card. These players have been battling it out all weekend, and with a matter of just a couple holes, Max has been hunted down by Steven Rico. You see them walking down the fairway on hole number 14 right now. Players, caddies, spectators, and everyone else doing everything they can to find as much shade as they possibly can. As you can see, all of the non-players are taking the shaded route while walking down this fairway. We're going to wait for Max to throw his approach shot, and then we will stand behind the rest of the players while they throw their approach shots. For now, we're going to simply move out of Max's way. And the players are clearing on the previous green. This par 4 is very challenging for these competitors. In fact, they are also moving on to a par 4 on hole number 15. Back-to-back par 4s. For those of you that were hoping to do the math, both 14 and 15, when I mentioned both of those being par 4s back to back, that means 2. So just trying to help out everyone. Max is now setting up for a shot again. He came up shorter than he'd like to. Players would really like to drive as close to this OB sidewalk as they possibly can get without going past it or onto it. Yesterday we saw Patrick Brown literally just 3 feet past it, giving it a little bit too much. Max here, you can see with the dry desert-like sand behind him. And Max skipping it onto the inbounds area. We're going to step back behind our competitors here to give you a little look as to what they are faced with on this very difficult and challenging approach shot, with OB virtually surrounding the basket. And with quick feet and what some would say I pounce like a kitten, but managed to get in position here for Patrick's second shot. And Patrick is landed on the left-hand side. That is a very long, narrow area, which then leads to the basket. Both Scott and Steve have the two furthest drives here. Looks like Scott will be up next to throw. And it looks like he's going to go for the hyzer shot out and around. Scott says his shot's too high. And tough to determine from our angle. Looks like he carried over toward the OB fence. Steve's shot lands inbounds. However, he was looking for a little more carry before it was going to finish to the left. He was looked like he had very good movement on that. He is going to be able to get up and down and at least save a par 4. He will not be relinquishing any strokes to Max on this, barring Max doesn't throw one in from nearly 200 feet. And as you can see here, Max has a straight shot to the pin, carrying along this left-hand green. Everything between here and Max is safe. And Max with a very nice shot, which lands directly underneath the pin. He's going to be happy with that, carting a par 4 here. We find Patrick Brown here on the left-hand side. Huge shout out, first of all, though, to Christina. Christina, an amazing asset here to the entire tournament staff and to everyone else that has joined us out here. Also to Jordan, who was out yesterday out at Brangle Terrace, helping the entire Smashbox crew get out there and do our thing. We've got Will on the bag today. And of course we have Johnny V back at the controls in Milwaukee. And the players are determining exactly where they're at. And they're trying to clarify. We're going to see if we can get in on that action. Players determining not only where his disc is, but also then they'll have to see if it's inbounds or not. And a friendly spectator and helper has helped us locate the disc. Unfortunately, there is not a 2-meter rule in effect here for the event. However, he did carry past the fence here on the left-hand side. So he will be still considered out of bounds. So just so everyone knows at home, the 2-meter rule is a common rule played. Anytime you're above 2 meters, you may find yourself OB depending on the event that you're playing in. And Rico's birdie attempt is just barely off the mark. Steve, known for his super smooth release and long putts. Unfortunately, just a bit wide on that. So this is going to be Scott Miller for par 4 if he can convert on this. And Scott's par effort comes up just a bit short. We're glad that you are tuned in and watching us here on Smashbox TV. Of course, this is our 3rd round coverage. We are out at Kit Carson Park. This afternoon we will be bringing you the final 9 as Patrick Brown makes good. Final 9 and the conclusion here of the 2014 San Diego Open. Please go out and like us and share, tweet, Tinder, Zoosk, Grindr, whatever it is, all of the different social media accounts and then some. Anywhere you're at, make sure you're out there sharing the good word of live disc golf that we're providing to you here from Smashbox TV. Match.com profile is a great place to update with our links. Make sure everyone knows that your first love is truly disc golf and second love may be a life partner. And Steve Rico is ready for business here. We've got a final few holes during our 3rd round. And we are over here on hole number 15. This is again another long par 4. We have the luxury and privilege of catching up with one Vanessa Van Dyken. Vanessa, you are here competing in a pro event in the San Diego area where you reside. Talk to us a little bit where we're at after 3 rounds of competition. How'd it go?
Own is definitely some tough competition. She's an amazing woman, and I just tried to keep up the whole time and managed to do so.
Yeah, after the first round you were tied with her. Moving into the second round, you then tied her again, and now after the 3rd round you're saying you tied yet again?
Yes.
All right, so I would say you guys were pretty evenly matched throughout the weekend, and are we anticipating some kind of playoff battle here for the title?
Yes, I was told we're going to finish out the final 9 with the men.
All right, well there you go. We look forward to watching the action, and we wish you the best of luck. We know you're here competing on home turf. and playing against Owen, one of the top 4 finishers at the PDGA Pro Worlds, and you being the amateur world champion. It's going to be awesome. All right, you taking in the rest of the action here on the men's side. What have you seen thus far?
I actually haven't seen anything. This is going to be the first I see of the men.
Well,
so
log
I'm
into
excited.
Smashbox TV and watch it.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess you could watch it live right here on site. How, now that we've moved over here to hole 15, how do you feel that you fared on these final few holes that these players are seeing? How did they treat you?
The final few holes were fine. It was just in the middle I got a little caught up with some OB lines, but I was able to finish out those holes pretty strong and stay up.
All right, so these competitors that they're watching now are going to play holes 15, 16, 17, and 18. Go ahead and name your favorite of those remaining 4 holes that we're going to see.
I'd say 17 is probably my favorite. I like throwing tight little shots through the woods. Anything can happen, and it's just a nice little soft movement and you're down the fairway.
Okay, I agree. And your least favorite of those 4 remaining holes, what would you say that is?
I'd say the last hole over the lake. It's not very far. It's just a matter of whether you throw it down or up can make the whole difference, whether you're OB or next to the basket.
Absolutely. It is a little bit of a gut check, so to speak, on hole number 18, making sure you're clearing the water and the OB. Well, we look forward to watching some of the action here in a few hours, just after the men wrap up, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
All right. So there you have it. That is Vanessa Van Dyken, our 2014 Amateur World Champion. She is playing in her first pro event here. She told me earlier in the weekend that she was super excited to be playing with Owen. And she has come out, and as they say, she has battled literally stroke for stroke this entire weekend. After the round yesterday, they're discussing which one was better between the 2 of them, and they added up the scorecard. One had thought the other was in the lead, and of course the other thought the other was in the lead, and sure enough, they were tied. So tied overall after 1 round, 2 rounds, and now after the 3rd round. What an epic battle here at the San Diego Open, both of them vying for a PDGA A-tier title. And Steve Rico's just about ready to go here. He has picked up 3 strokes on Max Nichols in the previous 3 or 4 holes. He is sitting on a small lead at the moment. Again, that's barring what is happening on the 2nd card. But right now it looks as if Steve is in control between him and Max at the moment. And I think in just a few moments we're going to see a roller tee shot come from Steve Rico. He's going to be throwing a first run Icon Mongoose. Let's step back inside the Smash Box. And Steve gets a nice round of applause by fellow Steve out in the gallery. I believe he crushed that somewhere around 1,200 feet. Distance check on that previous throw by Steve. It may have been more like 400 to 500 feet. 1,200 was a slight overestimate. And just narrowly missing that tree on the left-hand side. Max with a solid tee shot, putting himself out there. Scott's looking to stay clean. Oh, and gets a kiss off a tree. However, it does not seem to slow him down whatsoever. We're playing a very long par 4 with a very high elevated basket. We've got just 4 holes to go before the finals. You're watching the 2014 San Diego Open. Ian, of course, from Central Coast Videos, out here taking in the action this weekend. These players again are playing to an elevated basket. This is the final elevated basket that they will see here in this 18-hole layout. You can see the base of it off in the distance. That is a green pyramid looking base to an elevated basket again. This is the highest of the 3. They got progressively higher as the round went on. And Max has set himself up here. Max completely faking me out as a cameraman. I thought he was going high and to the left. Instead, he was smashing a bullet low line drive straight up the middle. Put himself within easy birdie range. Scott convincing his caddy that it's another sidearm, as he's been throwing so frequently today. Oh, the beautiful low line shot. And Scott trying to skip in on a 10-foot elevated basket, and has a very nice looking shot. Patrick's mid-range catches edge and skips a little further left than he was looking for. And Steve Rico, who had the furthest drive of the group, throwing his backhand roller. Determining what his best angle of approach is here. Steve's forehand catches what appears to be some picnic tables here on the left-hand side. He is not able to penetrate past them. Steve is left with approximately 90 feet to the pin. And he has come up on the left-hand side. And as you can see, Tournament Central behind us, one of the main headquarter areas for everyone out here at Kit Carson Park. I know they've been handing out awards and prizes, as well as serving a free lunch to all competitors yesterday. Very nice touch here at this PDGA A tier. And with a slight hesitation, Patrick is waiting for all distractions to be clear before he putts. This is Patrick for birdie 3. And Patrick's attempt is high and past the basket. However, that bush that is just past where he was throwing may have slowed him down and saved him a few feet. Scott Miller has a little bit of a left to right crosswind for him from the angle in which he's putting. That's going to push his disc down slightly, or he maybe even carry his Anheuser putt over. He's going to have to be careful of that. And careful he was, making good. Gets the medium 5 there from cardmate Max Nichols. Not necessarily high or low 5, right in the middle. Max can gain at least one stroke back on Steve Rico if he can convert here. And he has done just that. Patrick Brown's height is not at a disadvantage here. And he makes good. with a new trick I've never seen before. Patrick pulls it straight through the bottom of the basket. And Steve Rico right into the heart of the chains. The temperatures and the play continue to heat up. We are watching your third round coverage here at the 2014 San Diego Open. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. Stay tuned, we're bringing you the final 3 holes in just a few moments. We have moved into position here on hole number 16.
Stevie, what'd you get?
Patrick will record scores for the group. Steve Rico with a 4. Max with a 3. Scott with a 3 and Patrick Brown with a 4. Max feels an additional burst of wind. And Max does not get as much turnover as he was looking for on that. Wind caught it and lifted it into the air. Scott Miller, after birdieing hole number 15, is up to tee next.
Looks nice. Sure.
And Scott with a very nice looking hyzer shot. Steve Rico looking to do the same. Steve's going to need that to sit down. And it has done just that. He's going to have a great look at birdie 2 from there. And after pausing on a slight distraction, Patrick throws a hyzer that's skipping left. And he's going to have a look at a birdie from there as well. There you have it. 3 tee shots for right-handed players carrying right to left. And Max, faced with that headwind, carries off to the right. I'm sure that everyone on this leader card is now starting to think about what the second and third cards may have done during the round. There is no lead that is safe. However, this course is playing more challenging than we've seen and during yesterday's round. That mainly due to the increased wind that you're likely hearing at the moment. This wind will be in our face during the hole 17 tee shots, although that is a short and technical throw, and it will also then be blowing right to left for these competitors as they're teeing off on hole number 18. We see 3 tee shots all within 15 feet of the pin, and Max is throwing from at least 60 feet. He will not be converting on a birdie 2 opportunity. Steve Rico is 22 feet, maybe even 24 feet at most, directly behind the pin. Steve's going to be left with a birdie opportunity. Both Patrick and Scott within 10 feet of the basket. Almost guaranteed birdies when you are a competitor at this level. Very infrequently would somebody of this caliber miss a putt that close. Let's see if Steve Rico can convert on his birdie. And into the center of the chains with authority, Steve Rico makes quick work of his birdie opportunity. He's going to gain the stroke back that he had just relinquished to Max on the previous hole. Scott makes good on his birdie. Max will take a 3, and Patrick Brown threw a very nice shot, came in perfectly, and I'm going to go ahead and count this as well as a birdie 2. Just 2 holes left to play, holes number 35 and 36 out here at the Kit Carson course. 53 and 54 overall. We're going to move over to hole 17, which is located just a few feet from us. Hello everyone, we hope you're enjoying the show here on Smashbox TV. I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and our show would not be possible without the amazing help and support and sponsors that we have. First and foremost this week, Legacy Discs. That's right, Legacy Discs out of California, Sylmar, California. Bamba, Steve, Freddie, Steve, all the guys over there, amazing support. Thank you guys for getting Smashbox TV up and off the ground. Play with confidence. Also, we have the PDGA. Our Professional Disc Golf Association has been supporting us from day one, and thank you for everything that you guys do. You are our disc golf ambassadors. Thank you so much. Of course, we have Miles Parkhill over at Paragon Disc Golf. Miles provides some of the best merchandise to all of clubs and tournaments throughout the entire country. And without Miles Parkhill at Paragon, we wouldn't be where we are. Last but not least, Sandy Point Resort and Disc Golf Ranch. Mike and Michelle Cousins in northern Wisconsin have been absolutely amazing. They're bringing you the leaderboard throughout the entire week. Sandy Point Resort and Disc Golf Ranch. Check them out. It is my favorite disc golf course anywhere in the country. Check them out. sandypt.com, Sandy Point Resort and Disc Golf Ranch. So there you have it. We have an amazing set of sponsors. Everyone else that tunes in, watches, supports us on YouTube, supports us via Facebook, shares, likes, Twitters, the whole 9 yards. We also have our first run of Smashbox t-shirts, dry fits. So come on out, support us, and enjoy the show.
Can't reach it like that. The most unstable one there. I can't reach it like that.
What is like the thing that tells you the disc is done? When you like, now this is ready?
When he puts it in his bag.
says that?
When he puts it in his bag, it's ready. Yeah, we kind of throw it, test the different runs, and go with what's flying the best, most consistent. We can go up and down with different weights to change the flights and do different stuff as we're testing them. You know, different colors matter also. So.
About 8 grams difference.
We made and designed the mold to do a specific thing. So we're out there testing the mold, testing the plastics to make sure that's how we design the disc so it can fly the way we want to.
We're totally good on camera batteries. We've had 100 minutes left. So you're leaving. We're all close. Please.
Oh, I can get scores now to hold us up. Stevie, too.
Hi, I'm Don Loper with Loper Financial Group, where the best investment is a great agent. I'm so happy and proud and excited to support Smashbox TV and their live disc golf coverage. Play with confidence.
My name is Connor Wright. My PJ number is 57322, and I've been playing for 2.5 years. My favorite thing about disc golf is all the people that are associated with it, and also just like the flight of the disc. The flight of the disc, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like really cool to me.
Always just butter. Look up the middle of the fairway. Ding, ding, ding. Put on the brakes. Put on the brakes, baby. Saved all the juice for the last.
And some amazing tee shots we've seen here on hole number 18. After the star birdie frame on 17, we have Patrick Brown just about skipping in. We have Steve Rico coming in very hot and just about putting it in on the air. Max Nichols going with the left side skip shot, and we also see Scott Miller, who threw what looked to be a great shot. However, the wind pushed it straight down. Scott is over there on the right hand side. See a gallery forming and some players and everyone else watching. Scott is moving over to the drop zone. Please excuse any minor technical difficulties here. We know all of our equipment is running as hot as it ever has before. And Scott has thrown out and around using a forehand shot. Scott's approach shot from the drop zone had carried a little further than he was looking for.
Yeah? Firebird. I had the height. Trying to put it on the
And Scott's able to salvage a bogey 4 here after going OB off the tee. This will be Max Nichols for his birdie 2.
Yeah!
And Max makes good for his birdie.
Yeah!
And never a doubt by Steve Rico inside the circle. Steve takes a birdie 2.
Yeah,
And
buddy!
Patrick Brown will also take a birdie 2. We are going to catch up with these competitors. We're going to have a brief interview with them before we move into the final 9, which will be starting in just a little while. We're also going to give a few moments for all of our equipment to...
Some shady spot? Some shady spot? Where do you want to go? You know what that means. Going in there?
And our competitors are going to move over to where we found them yesterday morning as they completed their round, one of the few shady spots out here on the course. Players will tally up their scores, we'll grab a quick interview, and then we will prepare to bring you the final 9. Look for that final 9 in an additional link. We will get that out there and publish for you as soon as possible. We know that everyone wants to log in and watch the conclusion of this exciting PDGA A tier here in the San Diego area. Looking at Patrick's card, we see him finish with 3 consecutive 2s here at the end. Very solid finish. Saw the same of Steve Rico. All right, well, we are here, ladies and gentlemen. I am joined by Patrick Brown and Steve Rico, and also Scotty Miller, another Miller. We're going to need you guys to speak up loud and clear, and then we're going to go let our equipment take a break. It's been hot out here, including for our equipment. Scott, let's talk a little bit about your roundup there. I think I'm going to go out and say right away, everybody had some ups and downs here. Talk about yours.
Oh man, it was dramatic. Good shots, bad shots. I had a lot of fun, I know that.
Well, that's good. That's what counts at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, I was shooting for better, obviously, but I'm just crossing my fingers I make it into Final 9. We'll see.
Well, now you're playing with 3 of California's finest players and national tour caliber, traveling all around, some of the best players in the world. What's that like?
It's an honor. It's awesome. These guys are like my heroes. So it's
wow.
pretty cool to play with them.
That is pretty cool. I agree.
Disc golf heroes, man.
Absolutely. You got any other real world heroes or? Hello everyone, we hope you're enjoying the show here on Smashbox TV. I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, And our show would not be possible without the amazing help and support and sponsors that we have. First and foremost this week, Legacy Discs. That's right, Legacy Discs out of California, Sylmar, California. Bamba, Steve, Freddie, Steve, all the guys over there, amazing support. Thank you guys for getting Smashbox TV up and off the ground. Play with confidence. Also, we have the PDGA. Our Professional Disc Golf Association has been supporting us from day one, and thank you for everything that you guys do. You are our disc golf ambassadors. Thank you so much. Of course, we have Miles Parkhill over at Paragon Disc Golf. Miles provides some of the best merchandise to all of clubs and tournaments throughout the entire country. And without Miles Parkhill at Paragon, we wouldn't be where we are. Last but not least, Sandy Point Resort and Disc Golf Ranch. Mike and Michelle Cousins in northern Wisconsin have been absolutely amazing. They're bringing you the leaderboard throughout the entire week. Sandy Point Resort and Disc Golf Ranch. Check them out. It is my favorite disc golf course anywhere in the country. Check them out. sandypt.com, Sandy Point Resort and Disc Golf Ranch. So there you have it. We have an amazing set of sponsors. Everyone else that tunes in, watches, supports us on YouTube, supports us via Facebook, shares, likes, Twitters, the whole 9 yards. We also have our first run of Smashbox t-shirts, dry fits. So come on out, support us, and enjoy the show.